Kang Wu stared at the screen until his eyes burned. The numbers dancing across the monitor made no sense. For 3 days he had been tracking strange signals from deep space, and they were nothing like anything he had seen before. The Luna communications station hummed quietly around him. Most of his co-workers had gone home hours ago, but Kang Wu stayed. Something about these signals bothered him. They came from the direction of Vega, but they were too organized to be natural, too hidden to be accidents. Still here? Park Hana walked into the control room carrying 2 cups of coffee. She was young, only 26, but she could spot patterns in data faster than anyone else at the station. These signals, Kang Wu said, taking the coffee gratefully. They're not random. Look at this. He pointed to a series of wave patterns on his screen. They repeat every 47 minutes. But they're using frequencies we don't normally monitor. Park Hana pulled up a chair and studied the data. Her eyes moved quickly across the numbers. You're right. These are deliberately avoiding our standard channels. Why would natural phenomena do that? They wouldn't, Kang Wu said quietly. I think someone is trying very hard not to be heard by us. The next morning, Commander Li Te listened to their report with growing concern. Li Te was a careful man who had spent 30 years in Earth's military before taking charge of the Luna station. He did not believe in coincidences. How long have these signals been active? Li Te asked. At least 6 months, Kang Wu replied. Maybe longer. We only noticed them because Park Hana updated our scanning protocols last week. Li Te stood and walked to the large window overlooking Earth. The blue planet looked peaceful from here, unaware of the mystery developing in the cold vacuum around it. Can you decode them? We're trying, Park Hana said. The encryption is unlike anything in our databases. It's not based on mathematical principles we recognize. Keep working on it, Li Te ordered, and tell no one else about this until we know what we're dealing with. For the next week, Kang Wu and Park Hana worked around the clock. They tried every decryption method they knew. They ran the signals through quantum computers and pattern recognition software. Nothing worked. Then Choi Yuna had an idea. Choi Yuna was the station's chief engineer, a woman who understood alien technology better than almost anyone on Earth. She had spent years studying the few pieces of alien equipment that humans had discovered over the decades. What if we're thinking about this wrong? She suggested during a late-night meeting. We're trying to decrypt these signals using human methods. But what if the aliens think differently than we do? She pulled up her research files. 3 years ago, we found that crashed probe near Jupiter. The computer systems inside didn't work like ours. They used quantum states that could exist in multiple positions at once. What if their communications worked the same way? It took another week to modify their equipment, but finally they had a breakthrough. The signals began to make sense. Not complete sense, but enough to understand that they were listening to conversations between multiple alien species. The first translated message made Kang Wu's blood run cold. Confirmation received. The human population growth rate remains within acceptable parameters for termination. Biological weapon deployment will proceed as scheduled. Park Hana stared at the screen. Did that just say what I think it said? More messages followed over the next few days. Each one was worse than the last. The aliens called themselves the Void Compact. They had been watching Earth for decades. They had studied human biology, human technology, human society, and they had decided that humanity needed to die. The reason was simple and terrifying. Humans were advancing too quickly. In just a few hundred years, they had gone from primitive farming to space travel. The aliens feared that in another few hundred years, humans might become a threat to the entire galaxy. Project Silence, one message called it. Complete elimination of the human species before they could spread beyond their current colonies. Li Te called an emergency meeting after they had decoded a dozen messages. The small group gathered in a secure conference room deep inside the Luna station. How certain are we about these translations? Li Te asked. Very certain, Choi Yuna replied grimly. I've checked and double-checked the quantum decryption algorithms. These aliens are planning genocide. When? Li Te asked. Kang Wu pulled up the timeline they had pieced together. They mentioned something called the third moon of the harvest season. Based on stellar positioning data in their messages, we think that's about 6 months from now. What about our colonies? Mars Proxima, the mining stations? All of them, Park Hana said quietly. They plan to sterilize every human settlement. They want to make sure none of us survive. The room fell silent. Earth had 3 small colonies and several mining operations scattered across nearby star systems. About 50 million people lived outside of Earth. The aliens planned to kill them all. What's their method? Li Te asked. Biological warfare, Choi Yuna answered. They've developed something that targets human DNA specifically. According to their messages, they tested it on other species first. It has a kill rate of over 99%. Li Te walked to the window again, looking down at Earth. Somewhere down there, 8 billion people were living their lives, completely unaware that aliens were planning to murder them all. There's something else, Kang Wu said hesitantly. The messages suggest they've done this before, to other species. They mentioned 12 previous cleansing operations. 12 entire civilizations. Park Hana whispered. They've murdered 12 entire worlds. Li Te turned back to the group. Who else knows about this? Just us, Kang Wu replied. You said to tell no one. Good. It stays that way for now. If this information gets out, it could cause planet-wide panic. We need to be smart about this. What do we do? Choi Yuna asked. Li Te thought for a long moment. We keep listening. We learn everything we can about these aliens, their technology, their plans, their weaknesses, and then we find a way to stop them. 4 people against an interstellar alliance, Park Hana asked. How is that possible? Because they made one critical mistake, Li Te said with a grim smile. They assumed we were too primitive to hear them. They're having detailed conversations about murdering us, and they think we can't understand a word they're saying. Over the following days, more details emerged from the alien communications. The Void Compact consisted of 5 different alien species, each contributing different capabilities to the project. One species provided the biological weapons, another had advanced stealth technology, a third specialized in orbital bombardment, the fourth had ships that could manipulate time and space, the fifth had mental powers that could control other beings. They're not just planning to kill us, Kang Wu realized as he read through another batch of decoded messages. They're planning to take our planet. All our cities, all our infrastructure. They want Earth intact. Why? Park Hana asked. Resources, Choi Yuna said, reading over his shoulder. Earth has rare minerals they need, and our oceans contain chemical compounds that are valuable to them. They're not destroying our world out of hatred. They're doing it for profit. The most horrifying discovery came a week later. Hidden in the technical specifications for their biological weapon were references to test subjects and specimen data. The aliens had been abducting humans for decades, using them to perfect their genocide weapon. All those missing persons cases, Park Hana said quietly. All those people who just disappeared without a trace. They were taken, Kang Wu finished. Taken and used as lab rats to figure out how to kill the rest of us. Li Te made a decision that night. He sent encrypted messages to select leaders in Earth's government and military. Not everyone, just a few people he trusted completely. People who could help without causing mass panic. The aliens thought they were having private conversations about humanity's extinction. They thought their advanced encryption made them safe from primitive human technology. They were wrong. Kang Wu looked at the latest batch of decoded messages scrolling across his screen. 6 months until the attack. 6 months to find a way to save the human race. They have no idea we're listening, he said to Park Hana. She nodded grimly. Let's make sure they regret that mistake. Kim Dae had spent his entire career studying alien life forms, but he had never imagined he would be analyzing a weapon designed to kill his own species. The biological data that Kang Wu's team had decoded made him feel sick to his stomach. It's brilliant, he said quietly, staring at the molecular diagrams on his screen. Horrifying but brilliant. They've engineered a virus that specifically targets human cellular structure. It would leave every other life form on Earth completely unharmed. Shinara paced back and forth behind him, her military training making her impatient with scientific analysis. She wanted action, not research. How does it work? Kim Dae pulled up a detailed breakdown of the alien bioweapon. It attacks the human immune system first, making us unable to fight off the infection. Then it causes massive organ failure. The victims would die within 72 hours of exposure, and there would be no cure. How would they spread it? Li Te asked. Atmospheric release, Kim Dae replied. They plan to deploy it from orbit over every major population center on Earth and our colonies. The virus would spread through the air, carried by wind currents. Within 2 weeks, it would cover the entire planet. Jang Ho looked up from his own workstation, where he had been analyzing the alien communication technology. I've been studying their transmission methods. The good news is that I think I understand how their quantum encryption works. The better news is that I think we can do more than just listen to them. What do you mean? Park Hana asked. I mean, we might be able to send them messages, Jang Ho explained. Messages they would think came from other members of their alliance. We could potentially hack into their entire communication network. Shinara stopped pacing. We could feed them false information, make them think their plans were discovered, turn them against each other. It's possible, Jang Ho agreed, but it would be extremely dangerous. If they discovered what we were doing, they might attack immediately instead of waiting 6 months. More alien communications arrived daily, and each batch revealed new horrors. The Void Compact had detailed files on human behavior, human psychology, human weaknesses. They knew about Earth's governments, its military capabilities, its social structures. They had been preparing for this genocide for over 50 years. They know everything about us, Choi Yuna said during one of their evening briefings. Population densities, military bases, communication networks. They've mapped every major city on Earth. But they don't know that we know, Kang Woo pointed out. That's still our advantage. Kim Dae made another disturbing discovery while analyzing the bioweapon data. The virus wasn't the aliens' first attempt at creating a human-specific plague. They had tested dozens of different biological agents over the past decades. Remember the disease outbreaks in 2089 and 2134? He asked the group. The ones that killed thousands of people before mysteriously disappearing? I think those were field tests. The aliens were testing early versions of their weapon on small human populations. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Thousands of people had already died as test subjects for humanity's planned extinction. There's more, Kim Dae continued reluctantly. According to these files, they've been abducting humans for biological research since the 1950s. Not just a few people here and there. Thousands of people over the decades. Entire families sometimes. What happened to them? Park Hana asked quietly. Kim Dae couldn't meet her eyes. They were used as test subjects. The aliens studied human biology by experimenting on living humans. Most of the abductees died during the experiments. Shinara slammed her fist on the table. We need to tell Earth's government everything. Mobilize the military. Prepare for war. And then what? Li Tae asked calmly. Earth's military has perhaps 50 combat-capable spacecraft. According to these communications, the Void Compact has over 300 ships, each more advanced than anything we've ever built. A direct military confrontation would be suicide. So we just sit here and wait to die? Shinara demanded. No, Li Tae replied. We use our brains instead of our guns. The aliens think we're primitive. Let's prove them wrong. Jang Ho had been working day and night to understand the alien communication systems. His breakthrough came during his 4th consecutive all-night session, when exhaustion made him try an approach that should have been impossible. I did it, he announced to the team the next morning, his eyes red from lack of sleep. I successfully sent a message into their network. A small one, just a routine status report, but it was accepted as legitimate. What did you send? Kang Woo asked. A fake message from one of their scout ships reporting that Earth's defenses are weaker than expected. The message was processed normally and distributed to their command structure. They have no idea it came from us. This opened up new possibilities. If they could send false information into the alien network, they could potentially disrupt the entire invasion plan. But first, they needed to learn more about their enemies. The Void Compact's communications revealed that the 5 alien species involved were not all equally committed to the genocide. One species, called the Hethrak, seemed reluctant participants. Their messages often contained subtle objections to the project. The Hethrak are being coerced, Kim Dae realized after analyzing their communication patterns. They're not enthusiastic about mass murder. They're being forced to participate. How? Shinara asked. The other 4 species are threatening the Hethrak homeworld, Jang Ho explained, reading through the decoded messages. If the Hethrak refuse to help with Project Silence, their planet will be destroyed. So they're victims too, Park Hana said softly. This gave them an idea. If the Hethrak were unwilling participants, perhaps they could be turned into allies. But contacting them would be extremely risky. Meanwhile, Choi Yuna made a disturbing discovery while analyzing the technical specifications in the alien messages. The Void Compact had been monitoring Earth's electronic communications for decades. They knew about every major government decision, every military plan, every scientific breakthrough. They've been reading our emails, she said bluntly, listening to our phone calls, monitoring our internet traffic. They know everything we've been doing. How is that possible? Li Te asked. Quantum entanglement technology, Choi Yuna replied. They've been intercepting our communications at the quantum level. We never detected it because we didn't know it was possible. But if they can read our communications, Park Hana said slowly, then they might discover what we're doing here. Not necessarily, Jang Ho said. I've been using the alien quantum encryption methods for all our internal communications. If they're monitoring us, they would see their own encryption algorithms. They would assume we're just alien messages. It was a clever solution, but it highlighted how precarious their situation was. They were 4 people trying to save humanity, while their enemies had technology beyond human understanding. The aliens' messages also revealed the timeline for their attack in precise detail. They planned to position their ships around Earth's solar system 2 weeks before the biological weapon deployment. The actual attack would begin simultaneously across all human settlements. They're not taking any chances, Shinara observed grimly. Complete coordination across multiple star systems. No possibility of escape or survival. Kim Dae found references to the 12 other species that the Void Compact had destroyed. Each genocide had followed the same pattern. Years of observation, biological weapon development, simultaneous attack across all settlements, complete extinction within days. They've perfected the process, he said quietly, refined it over centuries. They know exactly how to wipe out an entire civilization without leaving survivors. But they've never faced humans before, Kang Wu pointed out. Every species is different. Maybe we can do something they don't expect. Late one night, while the others slept, Park Hana made a discovery that changed everything. She was analyzing the alien communication logs when she noticed something strange in the data timestamps. Kang Wu, she called urgently. Look at this. The timestamps on these messages don't match the light speed delays between star systems. Kang Wu studied the data. You're right. These messages are arriving faster than light speed communication should allow, which means they have faster than light communication technology. But more importantly, it means their messages contain information about their exact locations and the time delays in their network. This was crucial intelligence. If they could map the alien communication network, they could potentially identify the locations of enemy ships and command centers. We're not just listening to them anymore, Park Hana realized. We're learning how to find them. Over the following weeks, the small team on Luna Station became Earth's secret intelligence agency. They intercepted alien communications, analyzed enemy technology, and slowly built a picture of the vast conspiracy aimed at humanity's destruction. But they also realized that knowledge alone wouldn't be enough. The aliens had superior technology, superior numbers, and decades of preparation. Humanity needed something more than intelligence to survive. They needed a miracle, or they needed to become something the aliens had never encountered before. A species that could turn its enemies' strengths into weaknesses. They think they know everything about us, Li Te said during one of their planning sessions. But they've only been Seo Jin was only 16 years old, but she understood computer systems better than most adults. When Li Te's people came to her school and asked if she wanted to save the world, she thought they were joking. Then they showed her the alien communications. You want me to hack into an alien computer network? She asked, staring at the quantum encryption patterns on the screen. We want you to think differently than we do, Kang Wu explained. Adults get stuck in patterns. We think about problems the same way we always have. But you might see solutions that we miss. Seo Jin studied the alien communication structure for 3 days before she had her first breakthrough. They're not as smart as they think they are, she announced to the team. Look at this, she pulled up the alien network architecture. They've built their entire system around the assumption that only they understand quantum encryption, so they don't have very good security protocols. It's like having a really strong lock on your front door but leaving all your windows open. What does that mean? Shinara asked. It means once we're inside their network we can go anywhere we want, Seo Jin grinned. They never expected anyone else to break their encryption, so they didn't build defenses against infiltration. This revelation opened up entirely new possibilities. Within a week, Seo Jin had created multiple false identities within the alien communication network. To the Void Compact, these appeared to be legitimate alien officials from various member species. Operation Mirror began with small steps. Jang Ho and Seo Jin started by sending routine status reports and supply requests through the alien network. Each message was designed to seem completely normal while gathering intelligence about alien operations. "We're inside their command structure now," Jang Ho reported during a briefing. "We're receiving orders meant for their scout ships, supply manifests for their biological weapons, even personal messages between alien commanders." But intelligence gathering was only the first phase. The real goal was much more ambitious: to turn the aliens' own paranoia against them. Yoon Bin arrived at Luna Station during the second week of Operation Mirror. He was a former Special Forces soldier who had been quietly recruited to lead Earth's covert response to the alien threat. He brought with him a small team of specialists who had been told only that they were participating in a classified defense project. "How many people know the truth?" Yoon Bin asked Lee Tae during their private meeting. "About 20, Lee Tae replied. "Government officials, military commanders, key scientists. Everyone has been carefully selected and thoroughly screened." "Good. The fewer people who know, the safer we all are. What's our current operational status?" Lee Tae outlined the 3 phases of Operation Mirror. Phase 1 was intelligence infiltration, which was already underway. Phase 2 would be active sabotage of alien operations. Phase 3 was the most ambitious: psychological warfare designed to turn the Void Compact against itself. "You want to start a war between alien species?" Yoon Bin asked. "We want to make them so paranoid and suspicious of each other that they can't coordinate their attack on us," Lee Tae explained. Meanwhile, Yoon Bin's team had made a shocking discovery. Hidden throughout Earth's solar system were alien observation posts that had been monitoring human activity for decades. These posts were camouflaged to look like asteroids or space debris, but they contained sophisticated surveillance equipment. 17 posts so far, Yoon Bin reported. "Probably more that we haven't found yet. They've been watching everything we do. Every ship launch, every communication, every military exercise. Can we destroy them?" Shinara asked. "Better than that," Yoon Bin smiled grimly. "We can reprogram them. Instead of sending real data back to the aliens, we can make them send whatever information we want." This became Phase 2 of Operation Mirror. Instead of destroying the alien surveillance network, humanity hijacked it. The observation posts were secretly modified to transmit false information about Earth's capabilities and preparations. To the aliens, it appeared that Earth was completely unprepared for attack. Human military forces seemed disorganized and primitive. There were no signs that humans suspected anything unusual. The planet looked like an easy target. "They're seeing exactly what they expect to see," Choi Yuna explained. "A primitive species with no idea that death is coming for them." But the most audacious part of Operation Mirror was Phase 3, the creation of the Silent Guardians. Park Hana came up with the idea while analyzing alien psychological profiles. "They're terrified of the unknown," she realized. "All their planning is based on controlling every variable, but what if we introduced a variable they couldn't control?" The plan was simple in concept but incredibly complex in execution. Using their access to alien communication networks, the team began creating evidence of an ancient alien civilization that protected developing species from extinction. "We're going to invent a mythology," Kang Woo explained to the expanded team. "The Silent Guardians are supposedly an ancient race that disappeared millions of years ago, but left behind automated defense systems to protect young civilizations. Seo Jin was the perfect person to plant this false information throughout alien databases. She created archaeological records, historical documents, and scientific reports that all supported the existence of the Silent Guardians. The information was inserted into alien networks so cleverly that it appeared to have been there for decades. The beauty of it," Jang Ho said admiringly, "is that we're using their own academic networks against them. They trust their own databases implicitly." The psychological impact on the Void Compact was immediate and dramatic. Within days of the first archaeological discoveries appearing in their networks, alien communications became filled with worry and debate about the mysterious Silent Guardians. Some alien scientists claimed the Guardian artifacts were clearly authentic. Others argued they were elaborate hoaxes. The debate raged across multiple star systems, with each species blaming the others for withholding information. "They're starting to turn on each other," Nam Kyung observed with satisfaction. Nam Kyung was a diplomat who had joined the project to handle the delicate task of managing information flow to Earth's governments. But Nam Kyung also raised an important concern. What if some of these aliens are reasonable? What if we could negotiate with them instead of fighting them? This created a heated debate within the human response team. Shinara and Yoon Bin favored military preparation and aggressive countermeasures. Nam Kyung argued for attempting diplomatic contact. Others fell somewhere in between. We know that at least one species, the Hethrak, are being coerced into participating, Kim Dae pointed out. Maybe they would help us if we contacted them directly. Or maybe they would warn the others that we know about the plan, Shinara countered. Any contact attempt is a huge risk. Lee Tae made the decision to continue with Operation Mirror while secretly preparing for possible diplomatic contact with the Hethrak. We keep all our options open, he declared. The psychological warfare campaign reached new heights when the team discovered something remarkable in alien cultural databases. Many alien civilizations had legends about powerful ancient races that had vanished mysteriously. The concept of elder guardians was deeply embedded in galactic mythology. It's perfect, Seo Jin said excitedly. We're not creating something completely new. We're tapping into fears and beliefs that already exist in their cultures. She began crafting increasingly elaborate evidence of silent guardian activity. Ancient ruins were discovered on distant planets. Archaeological artifacts appeared in museum databases. Most convincingly, she created records suggesting that several of the Void Compact's previous genocide attempts had been mysteriously interrupted by unknown forces. According to our new historical records, Park Hana announced, 3 of the 12 species the aliens supposedly exterminated actually escaped destruction thanks to silent guardian intervention. The survivors fled to distant galaxies where they're presumably building up forces for revenge. The impact on alien morale was devastating. Command communications became filled with demands for additional security, requests for military reinforcements, and paranoid speculation about guardian spies within their own ranks. They're scared, Kang Woo realized. For the first time in their history, they're facing something they don't understand and can't control. But Operation Mirror faced a serious setback when alien security protocols suddenly changed. The Void Compact had begun to suspect that their communications were being monitored. They're not sure what's happening, Jang Ho reported grimly, but they know something is wrong. They're implementing new encryption methods and changing communication frequencies. How long before they discover our infiltration? Lee Tae asked, maybe days, maybe weeks. But they will figure it out eventually. This forced the team to accelerate their timeline. Instead of the careful, gradual campaign they had planned, they needed to achieve maximum psychological impact immediately. Seo Jin worked frantically to plant the most devastating piece of false information yet. Records indicating that humanity itself was the descendant species of the legendary Silent Guardians. According to these new archaeological findings, Min had never built a warship before, but he was learning fast. Deep in the asteroid belt, hidden inside what appeared to be a routine mining operation, he was overseeing the construction of humanity's first true space combat vessels. The aliens have superior technology, he explained to his engineering team, but they've never faced human tactics. We're going to build ships that fight dirty. The human warships looked nothing like the elegant alien vessels shown in intercepted communications. They were ugly, brutal machines designed for one purpose, to hurt enemies who thought they were invincible. Stealth coding check, Min read from his checklist. Quantum jammers check. Nuclear missiles check. And our special surprise. He smiled grimly as he looked at the alien technology that Choi Yuna's team had reverse-engineered and weaponized. Meanwhile, at Luna Station, an unexpected visitor had changed everything. Quan Su was a member of the Hethrak species, and he had risked his life to make contact with humanity. My people do not wish to participate in this genocide, Quan Su explained through the translation device that Jang Ho had quickly assembled. The Hethrak was tall and thin, with gray skin and large black eyes that seemed filled with sadness. Then why are you helping them? Nam Kyung asked gently. Because they threaten our homeworld, Quan Su replied. The other compact species have placed weapons in orbit around our planet. If we refuse to cooperate, they will destroy us all. This revelation changed the entire dynamic of the conflict. The Void Compact wasn't a unified alliance of evil aliens. It was a group of species dominated by the most aggressive members, with others forced to participate through threats and coercion. How many species in the compact are willing participants? Lee Tae asked. Only 2, Quan Su answered. the Vextar and the Morden. They are the leaders. The rest of us are slaves to their ambitions. Can your people help us? Shannara asked. Quansu was quiet for a long moment. Some of us would try, but we cannot act openly without dooming our homeworld. This gave the human team crucial intelligence about the enemy command structure. The Vextar were the military leaders, aggressive creatures who believed that the galaxy belonged to the strongest species. The Morden were the scientists who had developed the biological weapons used in previous genocides. If we could eliminate their leadership, Yun Bin suggested, the rest of the compact might fall apart. It's possible, Quan Su agreed. But the Vextar command ships are heavily defended, and the Morden research facilities are hidden in deep space. Bei Young joined the team during the second week of this phase. She was a psychologist who specialized in alien behavior patterns, and her job was to help craft the most effective psychological warfare campaigns. The key is understanding what each species fears most, she explained during her first briefing. The Vextar fear losing their dominance. The Morden fear having their research destroyed. The coerced species fear for their homeworlds. She worked with Seo Jin to create targeted propaganda for each alien species. Messages designed to exploit their specific psychological weaknesses were inserted into their communication networks. For the Vextar, we're spreading rumors that the other species are planning to overthrow them after the human genocide, Bei Young explained. For the Morden, we're suggesting that their research data has been compromised and stolen by rivals. The psychological campaign was working. Alien communications showed increasing paranoia and distrust between the different species. Some compact ships had even begun taking defensive positions against their supposed allies. But the aliens were also getting closer to discovering the source of their communication problems. Security sweeps were intensifying, and several of the false identities that Seo Jin had created were being investigated. We've got maybe a week before they figure out that humans are inside their network, Jang Ho warned. After that, they'll change all their systems and we'll be locked out. Oh Min's shipbuilding project was progressing rapidly, but it was a race against time. The alien fleet was already moving toward Earth's solar system, and humanity needed its secret weapons ready before they arrived. 47 ships completed, Oh Min reported during a status meeting, each one equipped with the latest weapons and defense systems we've been able to develop. Is that enough? Li Te asked. Against 300 alien ships? Not even close, Oh Min admitted. But these aren't meant to win a fair fight. They're meant to cause as much damage as possible before going down. The human strategy was based on asymmetric warfare. Instead of trying to match alien firepower, they would use surprise, deception, and unconventional tactics to level the playing field. Each human ship carried a mix of conventional weapons and exotic technologies, reverse-engineered from alien systems. But their most important weapon was information. Thanks to their infiltration of alien networks, the humans knew exactly where the enemy ships would be and what their battle plans looked like. We'll know what they're going to do before they do it, Yun Bin explained to his tactical team. That's an advantage that no amount of superior technology can overcome. Quan Su provided crucial intelligence about alien military tactics and weaknesses. The Vextar are aggressive but predictable, he explained. They prefer direct assault over clever maneuvering. The Morden ships are powerful but poorly defended. If you can get close to them, they're vulnerable. He also revealed something that changed the entire defensive strategy: the location of the alien bioweapon production facility. It's hidden in the Europa system, Quan Su said. The Morden built their laboratory inside one of Jupiter's moons. That's where they're preparing the virus that will kill your species. This intelligence gave humanity a chance to turn the aliens' own weapon against them. Kim Dae and his biological research team began working frantically to modify the alien virus. If we can reprogram the genetic targeting system, Kim Dae explained, we can make it attack alien DNA instead of human DNA. Their own bioweapon becomes our weapon. It was a complex and dangerous undertaking. One mistake could release a plague that would kill everything on Earth, but it was also humanity's best chance of survival. The beautiful irony, Kim Dae said as he worked, is that they've already done most of the work for us. We just need to change the target parameters. The modification process took 2 weeks of intensive research and testing. When it was complete, humanity had its own bioweapon specifically designed to target the void compact species. Poetic justice, Shannara said with grim satisfaction. They spent decades perfecting a weapon to commit genocide. Now that weapon will be used to save their intended victims. But the biggest surprise came when Bei Young made a discovery that changed everything they thought. They knew about the conflict. The aliens have been talking about Project Silence for months, she said during an emergency briefing. But I've been analyzing the deep psychological patterns in their communications, and I think there's something they're not telling each other. What do you mean? Parkhana asked. I think this isn't really about preventing human expansion, Bei Young explained. I think it's about something else entirely. Look at these communication patterns. She displayed a complex analysis of alien message traffic over several months. Notice how the Vextar and Morden always change the subject when anyone asks for detailed justification for the genocide. They give standard answers about human expansion being a threat, but their psychological responses suggest they're hiding the real reason. What's the real reason? Li Te asked. I think they're afraid, Bei Young said. Not afraid of what humans might become in the future. Afraid of what humans already are. There's something about humanity that terrifies them, and they're not willing to admit it even to their allies. This revelation put the entire conflict in a new light. The aliens weren't trying to prevent a future threat. They were trying to eliminate a current one. But what could humans possibly have that would frighten advanced alien civilizations? Maybe it's not what we have, Kang Wu suggested. Maybe it's what we are. The answer came from an unexpected source. While analyzing alien cultural databases, Xiao Jin had discovered references to an ancient galactic catastrophe known as the Silence Wars. According to these records, she reported excitedly, there was a massive galactic conflict millions of years ago. An entire sector of the galaxy was devastated. The surviving aliens referred to it as the time when the Singers of Chaos nearly destroyed all civilization. Singers of Chaos? Nam Kyung asked. A species that could somehow disrupt the fundamental forces that hold the galaxy together. Xiao Jin read from the alien historical records. They were described as beings of terrible creativity and unpredictable innovation. The other species had to unite to destroy them completely. And you think they believe humans are related to these Singers of Chaos? Parkhana asked. I think they believe humans are the Singers of Chaos, Xiao Jin replied. Evolved and returned after millions of years. This explained everything. The aliens' fear of human creativity and adaptability, their determination to eliminate humanity before humans could spread beyond Earth, their desperate need to complete the genocide quickly and quietly. They think we're the species that almost destroyed the galaxy, Li Te realized, and they're terrified that we might do it again. Well, Yun Bin said with a fierce grin, maybe it's time to show them that their fears. The alien fleet arrived exactly when their intercepted communications had predicted. 317 ships arranged in perfect formation, approaching Earth like harbingers of death. They moved with the confidence of predators who had never known defeat. They were about to learn what defeat felt like. Contact in 6 hours. Yun Bin reported from the command center that had been hastily established on Luna Station. All human ships are in position. All sabotage programs are ready for activation. Li Te watched the approaching alien fleet on his tactical display. Each ship represented decades of advanced technology and military experience. Under normal circumstances, humanity wouldn't stand a chance, but these weren't normal circumstances. Activate Phase 1, Li Te ordered. Across Earth's solar system, what the aliens believed were simple asteroid mining stations suddenly revealed their true nature. Hidden weapons platforms emerged from camouflage, their guns turning toward the approaching fleet. Defensive satellites online, Omin reported from the main weapons control station. The aliens are seeing our first surprise, but that was nothing compared to what came next. Xiao Jin's fingers flew across her keyboard as she initiated the master computer virus that she had spent weeks preparing. Throughout the alien fleet, ships that had been loyal allies for decades suddenly turned on each other. It's working, she announced excitedly. I'm reading weapon lock-ons between compact ships. They're targeting each other. The virus was elegant in its simplicity. Instead of trying to take control of alien ships directly, it simply convinced each ship's targeting system that nearby vessels were actually human ships in disguise. The aliens began attacking their own allies, believing they were defending themselves against human trickery. Within minutes, The perfectly organized alien fleet dissolved into chaos as ships fired on their supposed comrades. 63 alien ships damaged or destroyed by friendly fire, Shinara reported with grim satisfaction. Their formation is completely broken, but the greatest psychological weapon was still to come. Kang Wu opened communication channels to every alien ship simultaneously. His voice, translated into dozens of alien languages, echoed across the fleet. "This is Earth to the Void Compact," he began calmly. "We heard everything." Then he began playing back their own communications. Every cruel plan, every dismissive comment about human intelligence, every casual discussion of genocide. The aliens heard their own voices describing humans as primitive animals fit only for extermination. "You thought we were too stupid to understand your quantum encryption?" Kang Wu continued. "You were wrong. We've been listening to you for months. We know about your bioweapon. We know about your previous genocides. We know everything." The psychological impact on the alien forces was devastating. These were beings who had spent decades planning in absolute secrecy, confident that their communications were secure. Discovering that their intended victims had heard every word of their plans shattered their confidence and coordination. "Multiple alien ships are requesting retreat authorization," Park Hana reported. "Their command structure is breaking down. Some ships are surrendering," Jang Ho added in amazement. "They're asking for mercy." But the aliens' greatest shock was yet to come. Kim Dae's modified bioweapon deployed exactly as the aliens had planned to deploy theirs. Atmospheric release from orbit, carried by wind currents to every corner of the battlefield. But instead of targeting human DNA, it sought out the genetic markers of compact species. "Bioweapon deployment successful," Kim Dae announced. "All compact species will begin showing symptoms within hours." The irony was perfect. The aliens had spent decades developing the perfect genocide weapon, only to have it turned against them by their intended victims. "Emergency retreat order issued by Vextar Command," Yoon Bin reported. "But it's too late. Our virus has already infected their ships. Many alien vessels tried to flee but found their navigation systems compromised by human infiltration programs. Others attempted to surrender, only to discover that their communication systems were broadcasting human messages instead of their own words." The hidden human fleet emerged from asteroid hiding places throughout the solar system, 47 ships against what remained of the alien force, but the human ships carried more than conventional weapons. "Launching Phase 3, Min announced. The human ships deployed a weapon that no alien civilization had ever encountered: pure creativity. Instead of following predictable attack patterns, each human captain was given complete freedom to improvise their tactics. Human ships used gravitational slingshots around planets to achieve impossible velocities. They hid inside asteroid fields and struck without warning. They used the aliens' own quantum communication networks to coordinate attacks that seemed to anticipate enemy movements. "The aliens can't adapt to our tactics," Yoon Bin observed with admiration. "They're trained to fight organized, predictable opponents. They have no idea how to respond to controlled chaos." One by one, alien ships fell to human ingenuity. Captain Jiang Min used his ship's mining lasers to blind enemy sensors before striking with conventional weapons. Captain So Young programmed her navigation computer to pilot her ship through a pattern so random that alien targeting systems couldn't predict her movements, but the most devastating blow came when Quan Su's intelligence proved accurate. The aliens had indeed brought their command ship to personally oversee humanity's extinction. "Morden research vessel identified," Choi Yuna announced. "It's the ship carrying their bioweapon production facility. And their military command center is the Vextar Dreadnought in Formation 7. Added Shinara. Yoon Bin made the decision that ended the battle. "All ships concentrate fire on the command vessels. Cut off the head and the body dies." The attacks on the alien leadership ships were coordinated with surgical precision. Human vessels struck simultaneously from multiple directions, using tactics that the aliens had never seen before. The Morden research ship, designed for laboratory work rather than combat, was destroyed in the first wave. The loss of their bioweapon production capability sent panic through the remaining alien forces. The Vextar Dreadnought lasted longer, but its commanders made a fatal error. Believing they were facing a conventional attack, they followed standard defensive protocols. They had no defense against the human strategy of controlled unpredictability. Both command ships destroyed, Omin reported. Alien fleet is in complete disarray. What followed wasn't really a battle anymore. It was a rout. Alien ships fled in all directions, some trying to reach the edge of the solar system, others simply surrendering where they stood. We're receiving communication requests from 17 alien ships, Nam Kyung announced. They're asking for asylum. Asylum? Li Tae asked. They don't want to return to their home worlds, Nam Kyung explained. They're afraid of being punished for the failure of Project Silence. The irony was complete. The aliens who had come to commit genocide were now begging their intended victims for protection. Grant asylum to any ship that surrenders, Li Tae ordered. We're not the monsters here. In the aftermath of the battle, the full scope of humanity's victory became clear. Of the 317 ships that had come to destroy Earth, only 43 escaped the solar system. Most of the rest were captured intact, along with their crews and their technology. The Void Compact is finished, Kwon Soo confirmed during the post-battle debriefing. Without the Vextar and Morden leadership, the Alliance will collapse. The coerced species will be free to return to their homeworlds. But the greatest victory wasn't military. It was the message that humanity had sent to the galaxy. Within days, news of the failed genocide spread across interstellar space. The story of how humans had turned their enemies' own weapons against them became legend. Other species, some of whom had been living in fear of the Void Compact for centuries, began to reach out to Earth. We're receiving diplomatic communications from 47 different civilizations, Nam Kyung reported with amazement. They all want to establish formal relations with humanity. Why? Park Hana asked. Because we did something no one thought was possible, Nam Kyung replied. We defeated the Void Compact. Other species see us as protectors now, not threats. 3 months after the battle, Earth was invited to join the Galactic Council as a recognized spacefaring civilization. The vote was unanimous. It's ironic, Kim Dae observed as they prepared for humanity's first official diplomatic mission to the galactic capital. The aliens tried to destroy us because they were afraid we'd become too powerful. Instead, their attack made us more powerful than we ever would have been on our own. We have their technology now, Choi Yuna agreed. Their ships, their weapons, their scientific knowledge. The genocide attempt backfired completely. But perhaps the most satisfying moment came when Earth established its first interstellar protection treaty. The Kalani species, small and peaceful beings from a distant star system, had requested human protection against aggressive neighbors. We're becoming exactly what the Void Compact feared, Yoon Bin realized. Protectors of the weak, defenders of the innocent, and chaos singers, Seo Jin added with a grin. Don't forget, they thought we were the legendary Sin,